Hey guys, I'm Shayla, and I've been wanting to do this for a while now. My mom actually is the one who encouraged me to do it, and also the Jenkins blog. I love that woman, and she is absolutely hilarious. And if there's anything I stand for in this world, it's honesty. Honesty. To the point, straight, honest, I don't care. Anyways, I'm going to start off by giving you guys a little bit of information about myself. I'm an addict. I'm 28 years old. I've been addicted to alcohol, Xanax, and narcotics, opioids. Um, I started off with alcohol at 15 years old. I was a cheerleader, a dancer, and a pommy. I was basically your average girl in school. I did cheer, I did dance. I wasn't the popular girl, but I was pretty popular. I hung out in that crowd, and I did what I could to make sure I stayed noticed, and I wanted to be the pretty girl and keep that reputation. But the one thing that blurred those lines was with the reputation of a pretty girl and a cheerleader and a dancer comes along with a little bit of badness. And with that, I mean drinking, partying. I grew up in 2000, 1990 was the year I was born. So I call our generation the guinea pig generation. And what I mean by that, I'm not saying that the 80s and the 70s and the 60s didn't have LSD, acid, and all those crazy drugs, but we were the guinea pig generation when it comes down to social media. We had the MySpace, we had the Loop, we had Facebook, we literally had everything when it first came out. Our generation did. If you're my age, you probably had all of these things too. Well, when I was in high school, about 15 years old is when I started drinking. My first time I had ever had alcohol, I was probably about 9 years old. I noticed that I like drinking. I come from a family of alcoholics. My dad's side of the family likes to drink. And my mom's side of the family, however, has another problem with drugs. I was put into foster care when I was 6 years old. My parents had us both I had all four of us taken away. I'm one of four kids, and all four of us were taken away. My little brother and sister got to stay together, and my older brother and I were separated and put into two different homes. And it literally just made me a stronger person. I looked at what was going on in my life, and I told myself that I'm never going to put my family through this. I don't look down on my parents for doing this or having this had happen to them, because my parents are still married to this day. They are actually about to celebrate 30 years of marriage this upcoming year, or 31. They have never been divorced. They only have 4 children, in which they got married, had us all 4. They separated, lost us, got back together, and kept us, and have literally just, they're a miracle. My parents are a freaking miracle. I'm not saying I have a perfect family by any means at all. Clearly, if I had a sip of alcohol at 9 years old, I didn't have the most perfect family. With that being said, I just want people to know my story. There's nothing really that I like to hide. Anyone who knows me knows my story. I don't hide anything about myself. I tell everyone that I have an alcohol problem. I always will. I'm 3 years sober. On Friday the 13th of 2012, I crashed my parents' car at about 90 miles an hour with a .386 BAC. That's right, I should not have lived. I shouldn't have even been able to physically drive, let alone walk. I'm smaller now, but back then I always sat at about 170. So with my alcohol problem, I was a little bit bigger. So I had a tolerance for the alcohol that I drank. I had a huge alcohol problem. I did sit in jail. I didn't see the most severe consequences in which you probably would have expected someone who did what I did had seen. I sat maybe about 4 hours in jail. My alcohol was, or my BAC was dismissed in court because of the fact that they requested my blood sample without my consent, because I woke up 3 days later in an ICU. And by the grace of God, I literally walked out of, well, wheeled. I was in a wheelchair, wheeled out of that accident. But every single day since then, I've done everything I can to prove to everyone that I'm not that person anymore. After the accident, I had my whole family basically tell me that they got their sister back, they got their daughter back, they got their whatever back, their niece back, their cousin back. And then along with it, I actually have a best friend from my freshman year of high school. And right before my accident, probably about 2 weeks before, her and I had gotten into an altercation and we weren't talking. My fault. All my fault. I'll admit it. I was an asshole. I had a tendency to drink and say things that I didn't mean. I was mean. I hurt people's feelings. I woke up day after day having to look through my phone and hear what I had done and apologize for what I had done and get stories from other people from what I had done. And that's not a way to live. It's not. I knew that I didn't want to be an alcoholic. I had tried becoming sober more than once. I lived in Sacramento for about 3 years when I went out there for college. And when I was out there, I actually became sober for about 3 months and then went out with some girlfriends on National Margarita Day and slid backwards again. So the accident definitely is the one thing that changed my life and is now why I'm sober. However, I haven't been sober since my accident, and that's not something a lot of people know. I have had problems since then, seeing as how I got out of the accident and I had 3 broken ribs, a fractured spine, a fractured knee and dislocated knee, and amongst a few other things wrong with me. I obviously took pain pills given by my doctor. Well, after my doctor prescribed me those pain pills, and after I was thinking I was sober from alcohol, I became addicted to narcotics and opioids. And I got to the point where I was taking opioids all the time. And then after that, I was taking Xanax. And Xanax were something that I had been taking off and on since I was probably about 19 years old. So I knew that it was something that I liked, and I honestly got caught, and that's why I quit taking them. I've been free from opioids for a while now, and Xanax since the day my aunt passed away. That's right, I got caught taking Xanax after my aunt passed away. And honestly, I'm glad I got caught, because if I hadn't, I probably would still be taking them. With that being said, I'm not perfect. I have a lot of wisdom because of the things that I've gone through, and I'm one to admit everything that I've ever done is wrong. Anything that I have done that I know is wrong, I admit it. I wholeheartedly admit it. And that's what I'm trying to encourage other people to do, because I know a lot of people see me and they know what I've gone through, and they don't understand why I do what I do. Why I'm a bartender, but I'm a recovering alcoholic. Well, I challenge myself. A lot of people don't comprehend why, but I do. Anything that I do is a challenge to myself. Every day I wake up is a challenge. Every single day. People ask me all the time, don't you plan on drinking again? No, I don't. I can't. I'm alcoholic. I can't drink. One drink is not one drink for me. One drink is an 18-pack and a bottle and a night missing and apologies and problems. And so that's why I can't drink. And I need to let people know that. And it's okay for you to have problems and tell people about them. That's what we need to do as a society. We need to actually become open with each other and talk to each other about these things and not judge each other for them. Nobody in this world is perfect. I don't care who you are. You would be so surprised if you knew how many people that had it together don't have it together. It's life. It's normal. There's nothing wrong with it. But with that being said, I want other people to know that it's possible. Perfection isn't, but recovery is. And you can do it. And if you need any advice, don't hesitate to ask.